One evening, my friends Sarah, Simran, and I got this wild idea to check out an old abandoned church in our town. We all heard these spooky stories about a nun who was possessed by a demon. But when we stepped inside, the church was super creepy. It smelled old and damp, like it hadn't been used in years. Our flashlights barely worked, but they showed us just enough to see that the church was in bad shape, with broken glass everywhere and spiderwebs hanging from the ceilings. We walked carefully, trying not to trip over anything. Then we saw something really creepy, a tattered nun's outfit of an altar. It looked like it hadn't been used in ages. Seeing it made us all shiver and feel really at unease. I suggested to Sarah and Simran that we should just look around a little more and then quickly leave. But they were really into creepy vibes of the church and wanted to go and explore more. Out of nowhere, a sudden gust of wind blew through the church. It was so strong that it pulled our flashlights, and we were left in complete darkness. We all tried to turn them back on, but then we heard something really scary, a soft, evil laugh echoing around us. My heart started pounding because I realized that maybe the stories about the haunted church were true. Then, in the pitch black darkness, we saw a ghostly figure. She was wearing the same ruined nun's outfit we had seen earlier. Her eyes were glowing red, and she had this super creepy smile on her face. She spoke in a voice that sounded exactly like it came straight out of a horror movie, saying, "You should have never come here." We all freaked out and tried to run away, but the ghostly nun was surprisingly fast. She chased us with her arms stretched out, trying to grab us. The inside of the church felt like it was getting smaller and smaller the more we ran. We were screaming at the top of our lungs, but the nun's laughter was even louder. It felt like the church was alive and trying to keep us there. We were completely surrounded by the darkness, and we knew we were in big trouble. We were running through the dark, narrow corridors of the church, our hearts pounding in our chest. The ghostly nun was right behind us, her chilling laughter bouncing off the ancient walls. The air was thick with fear, and every shadow seemed to hide an unspeakable horror. As we ran, we stumbled into a small room that looked like it used to be a library. Books and old manuscripts were scattered everywhere, covered in dust and cobwebs. For a moment, we thought we had lost the nun, but then we heard her dreadful laugh coming closer. In panic, we started looking for a place to hide. Sarah found a large cupboard and quickly squeezed inside. Simran and I hid behind a heavy old table that was turned on its side. We held our breath, trying not to make a sound. The door creaked open. We felt the nun's presence, and the possessed nun floated into the room. Her eyes were searching in the darkness, looking for us. It felt like she could hear our hearts beating. Just when I thought he was going to find us, she turned around and left the room. We waited for what felt like forever before we dared to move. We decided we had to find a way out of the church. We remembered seeing a black door when we first came in. Carefully, we made our way through the dark hallways, jumping at every little sound. Finally, we reached the door. It was old and rusty, and at first it wouldn't budge. We all pushed together, and with a loud creak, it swung open. We slipped onto the light, gasping for fresh air. "Free at last," I said. But just as we thought we were safe, we heard the nun's voice behind us, whispering one last chilling warning: "Never return." We didn't need to be told twice. We ran as fast as we could, not stopping until we reached Sarah's house. We were safe, but we knew that night would haunt us forever. We never talked about it much after that, but sometimes, when it's really quiet, I swear I can still hear that creepy laughter in the distance. The church still stands abandoned and ominous, a constant reminder of a terrifying night we encountered the demonic possessed nun.